stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming. We have many folks here to speak to us tonight. Roll call, please.
Mayor Barbieri.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Tannen.
Here.
Commissioner Tom Zung.
Here.
Commissioner Stu Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Joe DeLuca.
Here.
Commissioner Al Ramirez. Commissioner Lee Stippian.
Here.
City Manager Craig Horton.
Here.
DPW Superintendent Ed Freeze.
Here.
Fire Chief Keith Klobuchar.
Here.
Thank you.
So I have one proposed addition to the agenda under new business 10B, and that would be a resolution for a temporary moratorium in regard to data centers. I think that's the only addition. We've got two guest speakers. They're both on.
Three.
Okay, well.
I'm sorry, yes, you're right.
So Ted Sadler is here, and so he's going to be a guest speaker. We have Michael Sage from DTE, and we have three department heads. So with that, is there a motion to approve the revised agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as modified.
Support? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So next we move to approval of the consent agenda items. Does anyone have any questions for Craig?
I will approve the agenda.
Well, hold on. Does anybody have any questions for Craig? Okay, hearing none.
Somebody else will do it. I will approve the consent agenda item, including a payment of $605,792.66.
Support.
Okay, roll call please.
Davis.
Yes.
Lum.
Yes.
Tanis.
Yes.
DeLuca.
Yes.
Stippian.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Yaki.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Our first citizens from the floor, would anyone like to come up and speak? Seeing none. We have two guest speakers. So first we have Ted Sadler. Ted, if you would come up and give us an update on EMS, is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Mayor. Thank you. And good evening, everyone, Mayor, Commission, my citizen and neighbors. At the end of June, marked, of course, halfway through the year, if you can believe that. And we had a meeting this morning at the Kerr County EMS, the monthly board meeting, with some updates on a few items, and I thought I would bring that information to you tonight. We recently completed an audit. I should say the audit firm completed the audit. A+, basically, they don't use those terms, but all procedures and policies. And let's start by that. There were a couple of minor policy changes that they suggested, and we did so. We've made those alterations to policy of how the procedures are functioning within the office, and they were pleased with that. So financially, we're in good condition. If you remember a year ago, a little over a year ago, when the lawsuit changed how dispatch worked in the county, all of the runs began to come to Kerr County EMS. That bumped activity and operation expenses by about 25%. So there were some real ups and downs, as you might imagine, in the budget, to all of a sudden have that much more activity and that much more operational expense associated with it. The good news is that we had been putting nickels away actually for several years, and we were able to weather that, pay those additional expenses out of basically out of the savings account, right, out of the emergency fund, if you will. That's why we have those things. And now we're back into a process where things are on an even keel. We're running 100% of the runs within the county. That's what all of us as citizens pay for, and that's good news. Emily City, the local crew here ran 327 runs in the first half of the year. So they're busy. And Keith's nodding his head. He knows that they're busy, just like just like your team. What I really find interesting, and you can look at audits, and you can look at financial reports, and you can look at all these different things. I think the proof of the pudding, if you will, is talking to the patients. So they send out a survey. Everybody gets a survey. If you ride in a rig, you get a survey. And there are 6 questions. Did the crew treat the person politely and with respect? Okay. Were they professional in their appearance and in their actions? Was the vehicle clean and in good repair? Was the overall care excellent, and was it explained to the patient? Was the patient made comfortable? And would they recommend Bear County EMS? 96% straight grades across that. There were a couple things where people said, so it's a 1 out of 4 grading. Either you completely disagree or you completely agree, and 4 is the completely agree, and on down the scale from there. There were smattering of praise in that, which means, yes, I agree. Maybe not strongly, but I agree. So that's the only reason why it's not 100. But they get some really high marks. Their road crews are amazing, just fantastic men and women, very dedicated. And again, the proof is in the pudding. You can set everything up, but then you talk to the customer after they've had an interaction with your crew, and then you find out what the reality is, right? And it's been just a terrific success, and we're continuing to work through that. So those are just the basics. It's a high-level flyover. Questions, comments? What can I answer for you, if possible? If I can, I'll bring it back.
I have a question. There was a citizen who I talked to who was concerned because they had 2 EMS runs. The first EMS run, they were taken to Lapeer McLaren, and then they had to, again, seek out medical care a few days later. And they specifically asked to be taken to Marlette, and they were actually taken again to Lapeer McLaren. And they had to wait a bit, and then they got taken to Marlette. But I was just wondering, is that automatic, or?
It probably depends on the circumstances that the person is in, and I think our first responders could probably better answer that. But generally speaking, if you are in dire need of life and death care, they're legally obligated to take you to the locus, the closest facility. And then if you're able to transfer after that, then that's a different story. But I would assume that was probably the circumstance. That the crew felt we have to get them where we can get them now.
I get it.
That would be my guess.
Okay. Thanks.
Good question.
That's right, I just agree.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Anything I can take back to the board?
They took good care of me, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good folks. They really are. Well, I appreciate the honor of representing the city on the board, and I'll continue to do that as long as you'll have me and I can. So, I guess with that, if you have anything else for me,
Glad to see you
you
again.
know where to find me.
Thank you. Thanks for your service.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Next, we have Michael Sage. He is the regional manager of DTE Energy.
Thanks. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for letting me be here today. And before I start talking about DTE, I want to thank you too. I've had 2 instances in our family that EMS saved my son's life with a bad choice on his part. And then my wife was in a car accident last year, and they treated her just wonderfully. Right now, I'm in Livingston County, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So, but in general, thank
sure.
you for the work that you do. I really appreciate
Well,
it. I take it for granted.
I just serve them. I don't go out on the road, so I'm grateful for people like Keith and Joe and other folks that get out there and do it. And Bob.
Okay, thank you. My name is Michael Sage. I'm the regional manager for corporate governmental affairs for DTE. I have about 12 counties that are under my responsibility, the phone basically, and then some of the ones across the Bay Area, and then down in the Livingston, Jackson, and the counties as well. And so I came here today, 2 things I wanted to talk to you about. The first one is about the substation that we've been working on, Inlay City Substation, and we'll just do a little background on it, and then we'll get to where we're going with it as well, right? So, built is it weak? Is that?
Reek.
Okay, yeah, so we purchased that. But there's also some other discussions, there's other substations that are close by that we might be able to switch the load to that, not have to build a new one and so on, right? So that's a plan in place, right? But the specifics about Imlay substation is, I've got some photos here for you too. Unfortunately, I only made 10 copies because I didn't really know how many people would be here. So, but if you can pass that around, you get a sense of the first project that we worked on. Yeah, that's right. You can see the structural steel there. It's all galvanized steel, something that's very difficult to get these nowadays, right? That's a process that isn't used very often, but it lasts a long time. And, here's a substation that gives you that example as being over 90 years old. But about summertime of last year, operator, this is an unmanned substation, so, there's not somebody there every day. They come when they need some work to be done or something is happening, that some switching has to occur. And a piece of that structural steel fell off of the equipment. It rusted through and fell, and it immediately became a very dangerous situation for the operators. So that started the wheels in motion to do something about it, right? So they started a project that was replacing, they took the steel down, re-galvanized it, and put it back up again, right? And I think that started in the middle of November and went through into January of this year, that part. Now, of course, you had to take the steel down, you had to take it to a galvanizer. There's only one in all of Midwest, down in Ohio, things like that. So it took a while to do all that, but that project was done, right? Well, we've got the substation de-energized, so it's 90 years old, so engineers said, well, we should go and look at the rest of the sub to see what else is going on there, which is a pretty good idea, right? And they did that. And it's unusual because it's an older sub. It has actually 2 transformers. You only have 2 circuits that feed Imlay City and just 1 circuit per transformer, which is unusual. Today, if you were to build a sub, you would probably have 3 to 5 circuits on 1 transformer. Of course, it would be about the size of the footprint of that sub too, right? The transformer itself, let alone what it is for those 2. So anyways, that's what they were looking at, one of them. And the underground cable that feeds the rest of the circuit to the system from the transformer was decayed so much that they decommissioned it, right? It's not safe to operate. So that's what precipitated getting that portable out here. It actually is replacing that transformer that's inside of the substation. It's about 1/3 of the load for Imlay City is on that 1 transformer right now. And so the plan now then, well, what are we going to do next, right? We got to replace that cable. And so the engineers started to work on that. But then we entered the summertime, right? And we have the System Operations Center, or SOC, are responsible for managing all of our load for our system. Just to give you an example, typically if you did an average for the day, you're around 7,500, 8,000 megawatts is how much we use every day, right? Last week it was 13 or something like that, a little over 11,000, right? So when you have loads like that, stopping something and not utilizing or even having to shut down to do work on it is virtually impossible. The SOC will not let you do that because the system is tied together, right? And then it's a daisy chain effect. You disconnect one thing and then now the load goes higher somewhere else, and then something happens there, and then before you know it, we have a 2004 event again where we're brown out everywhere or something, right? So we're not going to do that. That's why we're still here today now in almost August, and we're still utilizing that portable in place, right? Since I got all from Ed about this, I started looking into it, and there is a team that's working on it. I checked yesterday the plan for what we're going to do to replace that cable and schedule it and get the work done. It should be done the end of this week or the first part of next week. And then we'll have to make sure we have a little material, although they did tell me standard cable, so that shouldn't be a problem, right? And then we'll do the work. So you're looking probably through August, September, maybe even into October before all of that work to replace the cable will be done. And then once that's done, then the portable will be taken out of there, right? Now, this is this was unusual in the way it was set up. The substation, the operation O&M people actually did all of the work to set this up. So they talked to the landowner, they got the permit permission to be able to put the portable there. Normally, that's something I do, because typically it's capital work, right, which is a little bit different, right? And so I'm just learning about how all this came to place. I went and looked at it today again, and, it's a relatively, okay location, right? I guess for the landowner, maybe not so much, but I did check decibel readings just out of curiosity, and they range from, I stood right next to the fence, which is as close as you can get and still be safe, about 66 dBA, right, which is starting to get kind of loud, right? But then I stepped out to the sidewalk, which is, I don't know, probably 50 to 60 feet away. Now it's 55 dBA, right? So it's quieter. I went over to the park on the other side of the trees. It's 52 there, so even quieter yet. Then I went to the church's driveway. There's an overhang, and you could go into the building on the side. It was 48 there, right? So now it's even getting quieter. That's basically ambient there, right? That's not hearing anything from the transformer at all. I went to the corner of, what is this? This is Main, right? So it'll be the next street over. So that's
First,
Almont, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the next one over?
There are two over, but yes.
Okay, then I went there and stood on the corner. It was 58 there, right? So pretty much between ambient and the substation side. And then I went, admittedly, to Maryland Chicken. Because my wife loves the chips from there, so I can't go through Imlay City without bringing home chips or I'll be in trouble. So I stopped and got, so I stood out there and did it too. And that basically was pretty much the same as the corner here, right? It was in the high 50s in terms of the dBA, right? So it made me feel a little bit better that it's not an overly noisy situation for, there's homes right across the street, right? So it's no louder there than it would be if you were, in any other part of the town, is what it looks like to me, right? So, that's the substation situation. It could be better, right? But I think we're doing the right thing. I know we're doing the right thing to repair that cable, because, chances are if you let it go, then it fails, I don't know, afternoon of the 4th of July celebration here, and the whole town goes out of power for who knows how long, one of those kind of situations, which happens all too often, right? So, yeah, I went through all that pretty quickly. Any questions from anybody? Audience, anybody?
how long has this cable been an issue?
Well, no one knew about it until we decommissioned or shut it down to do work on the structural steel, right? There was no evidence that it was failing at all, right? Normally, they have, gauges that tell you output, and there was really no evidence that there was a problem, right? So who knows, I guess. 90 years old, it could have been a while, right? But ain't broke, don't fix it kind of methodology there, right? It was working fine, didn't have any evidence that there was a problem until they actually got into it, right?
So you would say that in the future you guys might set up some kind of a system to have these
So the technology,
Check.
the technology here in a 9-year-old sub is significantly different than what we install today, yes. So today you've got, you would have a control center that would be installed, and each breaker and then the feed, which would be the cable to it, would have much more sophisticated monitoring equipment. So now you're looking at milliamps when you're talking about, the type of data you're getting from the performance of the cable and the equipment itself, the breakers. So I think they're replacing the breaker too, right, which is the major component that feeds the electricity from the transformer to the rest of the distribution system, right? They're going to replace that too as well. So yeah, going forward, when, and I can't tell you a date, I don't know when the date is going to be for the new substation, right? That's, they're looking at options to utilize another location as opposed to building one from, new from scratch, or we could do that. I don't know what the answer is to that yet, right? So I can promise you in 2 years, because I'm going to be gone in 2 years, and then you'll never see me again, right? But I'm not going to do that, right? Who knows when that's going to happen. But I know they're working on it. I know there's a plan, right? I know that people have looked at the demand that's in this area and where would be the right place to put a new sub. can be utilized as part of the rest of the system and so on, so.
So how long have you guys been looking at putting this substation in? Is this something that's been in
I
discussion?
think we bought the land last year, right? Or started negotiating with the landowner for the land last year. So knowing that you have a 90-year-old substation, you have to start looking at what you're going to do next, right? I looked at the numbers for you guys. So we have, let's say over the last 3 years, we went from about 9.5 hours to less than, or right around 4 hours in terms of your outages, right? So there's other equipment that we're installing on the system outside of the substation that are helping improve your reliability. So there's more sophisticated switching equipment now today that we didn't have just 5 years ago. And so it's sort of like a loop system, if you will. So say all of you were homes, right, in the subdivision, and the tree goes down and knocks up the power here, right? And then the old system, it would knock everybody out, right? And now with the equipment on the poles, it switches it automatically without having the operator have to get up and go to the office and get his truck and then go to the substation and do switching. It does it automatically. And so now just you two are out of power and everybody's restored, right? So it's reducing that significantly, right? So that's done, that's in the process of being done. It's called our 4-point plan, right? I've got a PowerPoint I'm going to just leave behind for you guys to take a look at and ask questions about that later. Yes, sir. No.
I gotta get credit for fixing that, because I bought a generator for my house 5 years ago, and it hasn't gone out since.
Thank you.
Why?
Thank you, Rich.
Should have bought it 10 years ago.
What was the holdup?
Craig, I have a question, because this is the first I've heard about the substation. This is probably pretty good information for our residents to know that, you know, something like this is happening because of our system being as old as it is. So this is the first I've heard of it. So I think it's valuable information for the residents.
Well, again, we just found out ourselves that DTE bought the property just a short time ago, and this is the first we're hearing that they actually have plans for a substation. They don't have to tell us. I mean, the utilities are regulated by the state. They don't have to ask us permission. They dropped that substation in next to the park. We didn't know it until it was there, basically, because they don't have to ask us.
They asked the landowner.
Yes, the landowner, they asked the
Not his
landowner.
permission. I understand
But
that.
if the landowner knows about it, the
Well,
city should probably know about it.
Well, the church owned it at that time, and so they made the negotiation with DTE. We sold that land to DTE 2025, early on.
Okay. Yeah.
But you say you might not use that, you might go to a different direction to the other
That's,
substation.
again, when I started to look into this a little
Yeah.
deeper, that was something that was a little more immediate
Yeah.
resolution. Substations, if I was here today to ask permission to, you know, or go to your commission, your planning commission, you're looking probably 3 years before it actually gets energized, as opposed to doing, you know, additional transformer at one location that already exists. You could probably cut that in half, right, in the amount of time that you can get that relief. So that's options that they're looking at, right? And of course, money as well, right? It's cheaper to land we already have, space we already have, and you can utilize that as opposed to building something new from scratch, right? You put an addition on your home, or do you move and build a new home, right? The same deal, right?
Just one more question.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, the substation that we're using now,
Yeah.
does it look like we're okay for?
Yes, it does. Yeah, again, I'm relying on the O&M operation maintenance folks, right? Once that cable gets repaired, right, they feel confident that it still has some life left in it, right? And replacing that structural steel made all the difference in the world, as well as the breaker. Those are the big components that are, you know, the smaller ones are irritating outages, but not long-term things, right? Whereas these other ones are huge. I mean, I can't imagine there's a lot of breakers that are still being made that could replace the one that's there now, since it's, you know, almost 100 years old, right? So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, sir. Michael?
Yeah.
Forgive me, I just want to say thank you for coming and sharing this information with us on the work that you're doing. And just as a point of clarification, 90 is not old.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Just ask Stu.
Right, right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Wow.
This is work on Tuesday.
I don't think 68's old either, so that's where I'm at. So I agree with that. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And I left my card with Ed and also with the fire chief, because he's got some other things we need to discuss, so, but you're certainly welcome to call me anytime.
Thank you.
If we could, maybe I could get a short statement from leadership engineering about what our plans are for the community, right? And then you could post that on your website or something, so
Yeah,
your
yeah.
point,
That would be really great.
getting it out to the, we're not forgetting about.
We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and that might be helpful.
Yeah, that would be, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'm not talking about data centers. That's a really,
Yeah.
we've got uranium and all that too, so, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Drive careful.
Okay, next, we're gonna move on to the department heads. So Dawn, we're gonna have you go first.
Okay. Janet, I'd like to introduce you to our commission. This is Janet, and she is our new deputy clerk, utility biller, and she's in her second week on the job, so.
Yeah. Welcome.
But as for already, we're very excited to move forward.
Welcome.
Okay, great. Next, Ed.
Just a few updates and announcements. First one, the major one, we recently applied, as you guys know, for a drinking water revolving fund loan grant for lead service line replacement that would replace all the lead service lines in the system. We were awarded a loan and a 10% grant. The loan amount would be a little over $3 million, and the grant portion would be a little over $340,000. The loan options are 20, 30, and 40 years, all at 0% interest. I would like to note, though, the project was based off 150 water services, but next week, the contractor that we hired to finish all the physical verifications will start, and he'll be done in a couple weeks, where I anticipate we'll have a little bit lower amount, in reducing the cost of the project. Then we'll know exactly how many we have to replace, and then all three of the loan options work within our water rates that we typically raise for operation, maintenance, and capital improvement projects. Street paving, milling of streets will take place August 10th through the 12th. The priority is for paving to be completed before school starts. And then the pavement markings project will coincide with that after paving is done. And then just one other, just a reminder, we're paving Metcalf Street, South Elmont Avenue from the railroad tracks to all the way to the end, and East Borland Road from M53 to South Elmont, and West 4th from Elmont to Black's Corners Road. And then just, I get asked a lot recently about the project on Old 21 East Cape Back Road. Consumers Energy reported to me that they're coming back in first week of August to tie over some services and then abandon the old gas main and then do restoration. So it might look like that for a little while yet, but they do have plans to finish that up. Anybody, any questions about anything else going on? Or?
Which streets are you doing that?
Metcalf, South Elmont, East Borland, and West 4th.
Do you get these done in 2 days?
No, they're going to be milling for a couple days. The paving will probably be over the course of the week. Weather permitting.
That's right, the second week of August? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, great. Keith, what do you have for us?
Just a quick update since I'm here. Everybody knows our ladder truck got damaged in the belt fire. Bottom line is they moved it out from alternate wires. The fire moved quicker than they thought, and it got overheated. extensive damage to the exterior of the truck and a few other things. So that truck has been taken down to R&R. We filed insurance claims, been taken down to R&R. We went through with the fine tooth comb. They went through with the fine tooth comb. They gave me back the quote yesterday. We went through the repair quote with them. And we're good with where they're at right now. So that quote came in around $63,000. Couple caveats there, because we had concerns about the ladder and the integrity of the ladder, since it's a steel ladder, and because it was extended, what kind of heat damage was taken to the ladder, is it still, is it compromised? They actually had their guys to do non-destructive testing, to look at that, and they came back and said, no, that's a steel ladder, yeah, it's also heat, it's fine. You can get it recertified, don't worry about that. So basically, we're down to the monitor and a bunch of cosmetic things and a couple of things that need to be repaired, so that's where we're at. I submitted that to the insurance company today. Everyone else got the quote. They've also got pictures that I had of the damage, and now we're waiting for Michigan State Police to finish their fire investigation to get the rest of them tied together. So until they get that, they won't, they're gonna review the quote, look at the damage, they're gonna do their stuff, but they're still waiting for that piece of information before they cut the signals at this point in time. That might take a little bit, but we're working on it. So they want to make sure the fire wasn't arson, it was undetermined. I'm not sure what difference it makes in the pain, but they definitely want to make sure that they understand it before they proceed.
When's it going to be back in service? Any idea?
I don't know, it depends on when I get those things put together and when we get it picked off, and I'll have to get a timeline from, because he can't do anything right now until it gets approved. We get a timeline back from R&R on when we get stuff done. I mean, there's 2 windshields that got to be replaced. He's got sources for that. I mean, he's got sources for everything, but the truck is, let's face it, it's 30 years old, so we're just trying to find some stuff that's out there. But he had a line of sight and everything we needed at this point in time.
Chief, all the damage is covered under the insurance?
Everything that we submitted was covered in the insurance, yes. Anything that we found in that truck that was not working or damaged, we were claiming as an insurance claim because it happened during or after the fire.
Spent $100,000 on it. We just spent $100,000 on it.
We spent, almost $70,000 getting it up and ready and recertified back in service, and then now we got to replace a lot of it.
And the first time we used it, you have to come back and service?
No, it's been used quite a few times. Trust me, it's been on like 32 calls since we got it back. It's just, that one was just, pretty significant, and quite honestly, I'm glad that we got hurt. Because it got pretty hot. They actually ended up cooling it down to protect it the best they could, which is what shattered the windshields and stuff like that. But, I'm just very happy that nobody got hurt. And even when, after that, they were still able to put it into the scene and still use it and extend it to continue suppressing the tall fire. But it served its purpose, we just got to repair it now.
Keith, there's no deductible on that then? It's 100% covered?
I don't know that I can find out for sure on that, what our deductible is if there's any.
Yeah, we usually have a small deductible.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I'll get that from her, yeah, just trying to get the quote and stuff together for it.
Yeah.
Get
Is
that
it worth scrapping it, taking the money and using it to a new one?
Not at that cost.
Okay.
There were folks hoping to come in like twice that, 3 times that, it'd be a simple, maybe we just need to do something different, but at that cost, my gut feeling is we're gonna look at it and say, yeah, we're gonna repair it. Because the truck, its value is still worth way more than what the post can come in at. So that's been our biggest thing. We've been busy for the last month and a half, to say the least.
I want an update on the pumper.
Engine is, they're in the final process of getting that thing through the system. Jeff has some big pictures this morning that came in, the other morning that came in, and they look pretty good. So he's not sure which side of August he's going to be on. Initially, it could be a week or 2 from now, he could be going out, or it could be after the first week or so in August. So they're waiting right now for a time frame when they expect to have it roll off the line, so they can make provisions to go out, and then I can work with Don to make sure we have provisions to wire the money when they're ready to go with it.
And what are we going to do with the current pumper?
At this point in time, we're going to keep it until we can, and the idea, I got open bay right now, so at this point in time, I think they're planning on keeping it until they get the new one in service, we'll bring it out, and then at that point in time, we'll consider probably selling it, although in the they talked to you about the fact they may want to keep it longer, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, with having an open day, with 61 not being there, we have an opportunity to store that inside and still continue to use it if we need to. I
Okay.
suspect we're going to use it, because it's going to take them, the time we get it, it's going to take them probably 8 weeks to get it in service by the time we get everybody through it, training, driving it, get it all equipped and ready to go. So it's going to be a little bit before we actually see it on the road. And I don't want it going out until it's ready to go, because
Makes sense.
we make stupid decisions.
Maybe we could save money by putting antique license plates on. No, they all qualify. They all
Yeah,
qualify.
they do.
They
We got experts on it.
qualify for an antique license plate.
But yeah, we'll have to figure out what to do with the other one. The other one's been a good vehicle. It's certainly at end of life, but it's still a very good vehicle. And, you know, I want to bring the new one out first. And that way it gives us a lever if we have something that goes wrong with the new one, that we can get it addressed and still have capability. I don't want to be sitting there in a situation where I got to use it and it's not, yeah, it needs to be repaired.
Great, any other questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you
For your comment.
very much. Okay, next, unfinished business. The community center, I hope some of you guys had a chance to stop over tonight. There was the open house, and that was fun. Lots of folks stopped by, and then they were going to have the band in there. It was a little hard to hear over the band.
Again, due to the inclement weather, the potential inclement weather, Chuck made the decision to move the band members inside the community center because they were concerned with their equipment getting wet, it's, expensive equipment, so they made the decision, an hour before the sun came out, that happens, but we may get another round, so,
Very thankful to have that building.
yes,
Anything else we need to talk about the community center?
not this time.
Okay, new business, the Pro Plus leaf machine.
Yes. If you recall, during the budget session earlier this year, I presented a plan to exclude the leaf program from the garbage contract renewal in place of the DPW performing all the leaf pickup in-house with the purchase of a leaf vac. With a leaf vac, we can cut our annual cost for leaf pickup in half and provide a better service for our residents. We can perform pickup when needed and have pickups in fall or in spring, and overall it's just a cleaner product. The initial cost for leaf vac is substantial, but keep in mind the leaf vac will also serve as our branch chipper truck, which will allow us to sell our 1-ton dump truck that basically is just used for chipping. DPW, we have a lot of specialized equipment for specific duties. So they're typically in service for 20, 30, as Keith knows, sometimes longer than that.
90.
Yeah, we have the skid steer that we currently use as part of our leaf operation is 30 years old. The sewer back there that we depend on, if a sewer main backs up, is 36 years old. But these pieces of equipment run and operate because they're well maintained and they're specialized equipment that get used over and over and over. This plan saves residents now for garbage pickup fees, and then the long-term savings for them and also the city could be a great thing. I recommend approving the proposal from the Queen in the amount of $313,000.
Questions about the machine?
I'd like to also another note. The last time we bid out garbage services, J&J was the only, we got a lot of bids. J&J was the only contractor that provided a fall leaf pickup program. That's what we have had for many years with the previous one. So at some point we will have to come up with a leaf program for our residents. Because at some point J&J, we're either going to move on or he's going to move on or vice versa.
The last time we did it, we had two bids with pickup. One was the guy that has it, who picks it up and puts it in the truck. And the other guy wanted to charge us extra bag. We have to bag it.
Yeah.
And the bagging, which cost you crazy, and who was
most of the bigger companies are gonna ask you to bag every single leaf.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
It's about level of service.
And do you have a cost savings on that,
Yeah,
for the purchase of that vehicle?
yep, so, currently with the garbage contractor, 2 pieces of equipment, well, technically 3 pieces of equipment, 3 operators and stuff, we're looking at over $40,000. I anticipate with this machine, we would be around $20,000 a year doing it. Obviously, the first 10 years, it's not, the payoff isn't going to be substantial because we're paying for the machine, but the long term will be, a lot.
So you no longer will be using
The garbage.
the loader?
No, the loader or the skidster, or the sweeper, because right now, to do a clean job, technically you should take the sweeper, after it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't need the sweeper anymore?
No, and it does that clean of a job, because it vacuums it.
Would you
How
be
many
looking,
miles- Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
would you be looking into selling that sweeper to kind of help the cost?
No, the sweeper is, in my opinion, is an important piece of equipment. It's another piece of equipment that keeps our town clean during the rest of the year. Right now, we might sweep the streets every couple of weeks, depending on storms or other stuff, but, that is another specialized piece of equipment we purchased in 2014, so that's already 12 years old, but, brand new street sweepers, probably $400,000.
Yeah, didn't the city pay like $300,000 for that?
Yes, in 2014.
Right. So,
But the previous one was over 20 years old. It was a 1990 or something like that.
so this unit can be used not only for leaf.
Yes, but for chipping truck, which we use, sometimes all year round, depending how much tree trimming or stuff like that we do in the wintertime, but, for our general brush pickup and storm damage and, things like that, so.
It's a big vacuum too.
Yeah, and it does mulch it. It does mulch it when it goes through the engine, the leaves. Yep.
Romeo has one right now, I saw it last year. It's out all the time in there.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Romeo has one in there, I saw it several times in Romeo.
Yeah, Bad Axle has the exact same unit, had like 3 of them, and they swear by it.
Any other questions?
Just one more, how long would it take to get that unit?
We would be doing leaf, it would be next year, it would be about a year, so we would be doing leaves the old-fashioned way that we have been doing this fall.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to make a motion, perhaps looking at, on your blue sheet, under 10A, if anyone is so inclined?
Yes, I was a big proponent of this back when we talked about it originally. I still think it's a great idea, so I would move to approve the purchase of the McQueen Leaf Pro Plus machine for the amount of $313,000.
Support.
Okay, so roll call, please.
Davis with support?
Yes.
I heard a few. Vivian?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
DeLuca?
Yes.
Tanis?
Yes.
Blount?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Yaki?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a proposed resolution in regard to a data center, temporary moratorium. I thought this was really important to bring before the commission because there's a number of communities in the state of Michigan which have data centers or there's proposed data centers. And frankly, we would need to be able to figure out exactly what our thoughts are as far as ordinances, policies, that kind of thing. Frankly, Saline Township, Dwajniak have had huge issues with this, with citizens being extremely upset. There is a class action lawsuit in Dwajniak in regard to the local people that are near this center because of noise. And to do this moratorium for a year, we would have time to be able to study the issue, get public input, and not have to worry that if someone came and made an application right now under our zoning ordinances, data center could be put in there. And like Celine, we really couldn't fight it, if that's what we determined we wanted to do. But if we do a moratorium for a year, then we have time to actually look at it and from all different angles and decide how we want to react. So that's why I wanted to bring it forward with.
Yeah.
So, questions?
No, I love it. It's just, I love the paragraph where it actually says consideration of citizen input, involvement, public debate, full consideration of the issues. Yeah, I'm all for it. But my only question would be the termination. Once it's terminated in 12 months, can we do this again, or do we have some type of,
I would have to find out. I know that what's happened up until now, there have been some lawsuits because there's a lot of big money trying to put these in. There's 26 of these in Michigan, according to the internet, that are in some form either beginning, already built, and that there's a number of them are proposed, and there's a lot of pushback, frankly, for most of the communities. So I feel comfortable that we can do a moratorium for a year while we study this, and then we would have the opportunity to address it at that point. We would have to frankly get a legal opinion as to whether if we wanted to extend the moratorium. I don't know about that, but at least this gives us a year to be able to study it. So if anyone is interested, I'm sorry, you already made a motion, did you?
I'd make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the resolution 2026-15 to place a moratorium on the data center within the city of Inwood City.
I would second.
Okay, let's do a roll call on that.
Brown,
Yes.
Sempian,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
DeLuca,
Yes.
Tanis,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Yaki.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Our second, citizens from the floor, if anyone would like to speak. Okay, seeing none. All right, and we do not need a closed session, correct? Anything from you, Craig?
Still in negotiations on the MOP labor contract. I met with Howard today. We're preparing a second presentation. We're hoping to avoid deviation.
Okay. Commissioner time. I'm going to start this end this time. Commissioner Blount.
Again, I want to thank everybody that does come out when they can't come out. Media, Jen, welcome. It's great to have you here in the city, so God bless you.
Commissioner DeLuca.
Thanks everyone for coming out. Appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem Tennis.
Thanks for coming out, and the band was quite loud in the center. But I think they enjoyed it because they're inside, it was going to be fine.
Still going on for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, they were great.
Just too loud?
It was kind of loud.
I got some earplugs in my truck if you need them.
I got hearing bugs, I turned them down.
Commissioner Davis.
I'm thinking. I spoke to you about something about the fire department. Can I bring it up? Should I bring it up?
Of course, you're the commissioner. You can
Okay.
bring up anything you want.
We have been getting paid by the township for part of the use of the fire department. We spent, what, $1 million plus on a one truck, we got $1.5 million to come again. We're getting a couple of thousand from the township. And I think it's time we tell them now to give them time to think about it. We're gonna make them a full partner. That means when we buy a $100,000 truck, they pay $50,000. Not pay us for fires, not pay, whatever our expenses are, they share with us. And I think it's fair to tell them a year or so in advance, so that if they have to raise money and have it on their votes to have money for this and to approve it, we give them time. If we wait until the next contract is due, we will bring it up at the contract, and they will say, we haven't had a vote on it, and it's going to take us another 3 years to get them to do it. time we're spending millions of dollars here, and it's time they share it. I think it's fair. They run about half the fires?
Yeah, that's about right.
It's about, well, number we chose, they're 30% of our budget because we were running at about 30% of their calls. That number is probably going to be bigger this year.
But is the 30% of the budget put in the cost of the equipment?
They're paying 30% of our budget,
Yeah.
so yes. So yeah, I mean, and they're gonna be
I think
more than
they-
30%, so we're gonna have to go back and renegotiate what,
Yeah.
you guys
Maybe
have
maybe they should give us the other
40%.
20.
You should be,
departments.
80, you should be putting.
Is there any way to do it as a pro rata share? Where it's just voted in as if they end up with 37% of the cost, they pay that year. If it's 32, then that's where some communities do that.
Yeah, we need to talk about that, because Rick Perkins is already realizing that his run count is probably going to be higher than what he expects. So he expects that we're going to come back and ask him to pony up more on it, because we're at a higher than expected number. But yeah, historically, we run about 30%.
Either that or prorated at 40, and you don't get any money back if it's 32.
Right, what we used to do is we used to charge them for runs above and beyond, when we went to a higher cost, a higher input from them with a cap on the runs, but we're gonna have to say, yeah, you're actually exceeding that, so.
Yeah, that'd be nice if we could do it that way.
I think we should be partners.
Yeah.
And we are, I mean, Rick's trying to get a millage pass to support that specific activity in his township, so.
Make them a full partner. I mean, not just pay us, make them a full partner.
Well, they don't have the tax. Yeah, they don't, if they're only running 30%, why would they want 50-50? That wouldn't be fair. So, I mean, pro rata share would work out or renegotiate where they anticipated it bumps if it goes up.
Well, we
got
pay
years
for the
of
fire
data.
truck and then they pay.
It's
us
in
back.
the budget, Stu.
It's coming back part-time, over time, not right away. I just like them to be a full partner, that's all.
They're paying for what services they use, they're just exceeding that right now. And it's going up, and what they're sending in every year is going up.
Let's explore it, let's
Yeah,
explore it.
we can talk and explore it, but
Let's
yeah,
explore it.
we got out of the bits and pieces about a year ago, because it was getting,
Because 5 years ago, they weren't paying even a small portion of it.
we're not, and that's a lot different than we used to be. You can show me the old contracts.
There's enough data out there for you to extrapolate
I
something.
just figured I'd start a pilot.
I appreciate the input.
Mr. Stephanie?
Thanks everybody for showing up, for coming to hang out with us on these wonderful, rainy, warm, then cold, and wonderful, rainy, wet days we have. Thanks for everybody sticking out, all the fires too. It was horrible out there for me, my allergies and everything, so everybody got through it, was safe, secure, didn't have to go to any hospital visits for it. Thanks again to the fire department for all the wonderful work they've been doing over the past month and a half, all the crazy fires we've had. Doing a good job, thank you.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yeah, this is for the city manager. Just want to know, how's negotiations coming with the FOP? Does it look like you guys are getting close?
I think we're very close, actually. In talking to Scott Harding, the labor rep, he basically called me after our last meeting and said, you know, I think we're a lot closer than it looks like we are, and we were scheduled to go into mediation August 6th, but both he and I feel we're close enough that if we have one more meeting before the August 6th mediation date, that he thinks we can settle it. So we'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you everyone for coming. Very much appreciate that. Appreciate all the hard work from all the employees from the city. And that's it. Is there a motion?
Go home.
Second.
I'm not sure that's a real motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned at 7:54.
City